because I have seen the growth of the school. I have seen its, how it's blooming, and I believe, the future of the school is really, it's going to be very, very high. Because I have seen sirs and all the teachers, positivity, and, especially what the managing people and the principals, everyone's, the mindsets, all stuff. Of course, it's going to be a bloom in few years. I'm sure about it. So, what do you have? Do you have any idea of psychological wellness in schools? What? Any idea? Anyone? Don't feel bad, okay? Like, I'm same like you, same human being, same blood, It's like, don't feel shy or something, just be open, okay? If I'm sitting there, even I will be doing the same. I won't open my mouth. But don't feel that. Feel free to talk. What idea do you have about the psychological wellness in schools? Any?
About a friendly atmosphere to the child.
Okay, that's a good point.
Development of mental health.
What do you mean, like?
Mentally develop problems and issues on the handling and everything.
Yes. Well done. Any more? Otherwise, randomly the mic comes to you. Anyone here? Alright, that's fine. So we always talk about, in general trainings, always people focus about how we handle the students, isn't it? How we handle the students, how we teach the students, how we go with them, but we always forget about how we handle the teachers. Have you ever thought about that? We are all human beings. We are all going through different levels and stuffs in our personal life and professional life, but we always forget about handling the teachers' mental health, isn't it? Are you sure? Are you going through that? Yes, isn't it? So I'm going to start my session with self-care for teachers. Is it mandatory?
Yes.
Why is it mandatory?
When we are prepared, only we can make others to prepare also.
Yes, very good. More? The thing is, only we are efficient, only if we are sufficient, only if we are in full energy, we can only then provide others with good energy, isn't it? If we have a positive energy, if we have a good energy, we can provide the children the same energy. So if we are frustrated, if we are exhausted, if we are tired, if we are in all the negative aspects, what goes to the children? What is going to the children? Yes. So, of course, this is a very, very important subject which no one talks about. Can you see that picture? Can you read that? So it just said you can't pour from an empty cup, isn't it? And taking care of yourself is very, very mandatory. Whatever your profession is, whatever your stuffs are, your personal life, and your as a person is very, very important. Have you faced any kind of like burnout or compassion fatigue last year or something? Do you know what is burnout? Burnout, do you know what is stress, isn't it? Everyone is going through stress. Is there anyone here who does not have that stress? Anyone here, can you see that miracle person here? If anyone. So we all go through stress. We are human beings. Our life is different. Everyone's personal life is different. Everyone's professional life is different. The attitude towards professional life and personal life is very different, isn't it? So of course, we all face stress in everyday life. But it all depends on how we handle it, how we will cope up with it. It's all depends on that. It's not that no one has stress in this world. Everyone has stress. But it's all depending on how we are handling it, how we are capable of handling it. So, what is burnout is when we are very, very stressed for a long time. Stress, sometimes it will be like, 1 day stress, okay? So I was so stressed when I entered the classroom, the kids were, if it is higher kids or smaller kids, whatever the age group, the kids were so, that kind of mischievous behavior, and I felt, oh my God, my head shorter. If it is affecting you every day, like after the next day you feel the same exhaustion, you feel tired, you're not able to sleep properly, you feel a lot of things like your emotions are irritated, you're getting angry, your behavior is, I don't want to see you anymore. Why these people are talking like that? You feel everywhere. Your physical, your emotion, your behavior, even the social, whatever. We are social human beings, isn't it? We can't keep isolated inside the room and say, I don't want to see anyone. We have to. But we have to learn the social skills as well. So, when you are very negative in all the areas of yourself, and it goes for like 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks, you are in burnout state. Have you ever felt burnout state in your life? So it's very personal, isn't it? We can't always say it out loud. Yeah, it all depends. We all go through it, and it's all very personal stuff. The compassion fatigue is the professionals face, all the professionals, even doctors, nurses, and teachers, face this compassion fatigue. What is compassion fatigue? It is just, we try to treat the students. If there is a lower achiever in the class, we are trying our best to teach that child, but the child is not trying as their best as we are trying. We feel like, I'm fed up. I'm not able to do my best. Oh my God, what this child is doing? So we feel that, the stress intensely ourselves. When the doctors feel sometimes like, I'm not able to treat this person properly. Why there is no, I can't see any progress in the patient. The doctors feel it, the nurses feel it. That fatigue is compassion fatigue. When we feel hopeless, I'm not able to get the proper result from what I'm expecting. For the teachers, it's from the child. They're not doing as I'm expecting from them, isn't it? Have you felt that? Compassion fatigue. We are getting as what we are expecting from certain children. So we, as professionals, goes through these two states. Okay? The thing I wanted to ask now is, are you happy to sit straight? Relax on your shoulders. I'm not going to do any meditation, no relaxation techniques here. Just relieve your pen and paper. Free hands on your laps. And close your eyes. Close your eyes. Slowly imagine your last year. Not this year, the last academic year you just completed. The last year, a situation in your life when you face this burnout or compassion fatigue, totally exhausted, totally tired. The situation you have gone through, just go through the same situation, just imagine that same situation. It might be your personal life sometimes, it might be in your school sometimes, between your colleagues, between your bosses, anyone. And just imagine, how did you manage it? What did you do that time? How did you come out of that struggle, your self-struggle, to meet the daily needs, to meet your daily works, your daily tasks? Now slowly open your eyes. Did you sleep? A small nap? Did you go through those things? Did you feel something? How did you manage it? I don't need to know your personal stuff. I don't need to know what was your problem. Just how did you cope? How did you manage it? What was your management technique you used while that stressful time? Are you ready to answer this? Anyone randomly or the mic comes to your mouth? What would you choose?
Who is ready to tell?
How did you face this?
By talking to a family friend, I resolved my problem. That is the one technique I used.
That's really good. That's really wonderful.
That's really a wonderful answer and it's very beneficial. Any other please?
I try to motivate myself positively. Whenever I have a problem, I usually do like that. So after that, I felt I'm relieved a lot.
That's really a wonderful one because internal motivation is really a must and needed one. I'm happy that you did it very well. And talking is a talking therapy. If you do it very wisely and in the appropriate way, it's a really bright one. Any other? That's okay. Anything you can tell. Did you face any? That's the same talking therapy. That's a very nice one. Anyone? Any different techniques anyone have? Yes, please.
I'm trying so much. I'll finish it off. I'm sharing with my kids. They are my best friends, so I'll share with them.
So is there any troubles you share with your kids?
Yeah, for almost 5 years I am going through so many problems and so many issues. My children are my motivation.
So journaling, yeah. So that is a good one. So it's different ways of journaling are there. You are using it in a different way. So there are journaling is like if you write it and relieve all your emotions and you can turn it, tear it out or burn it out, just like for a relief. So it's like different way, but you're writing your emotions out, yeah. So that's a good point. Any other different point? Anyone? Other than this, are you doing any different point? Prayer, isn't it? We pray, we get relief, isn't it? We walk, we get relief. Our positive hormones, that gets activated when we walk. Just have a walk. When you're stressed and you get mad, you just get out of the class, have a walk, and come, breathe. Oh my God, yeah, I'm good. For a minute, I'm good, yeah? So, do you want to just have a look through these things? Deep breathing. Have you tried deep breathing? How do you do the deep breathing? It's not just inhale. No, that's not. When you do deep breathing, follow a process like 5, 6, 7 process, 6, 7, 8 process. Okay, there are some process. So, do you want to try your deep breathing together now? Yeah? So, inhale your breath. First, sit relaxed. Turn on your shoulders. Relaxed. Hands on your lap. Relaxed. Relieve all this, muscle rhythms and all, just relax your muscles. And inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. All right. Do you feel anything? Anything better? You got more oxygen? Your nerves are running well. This is just, isn't it? That's not going to do more things now. So if you do like minimum 10 times, 15 times in a very stressful time, if you are in a burnout class, a very difficult class handling situation, like your person is in a bad mood, and inside the classroom you're not able to handle the class, you're in a very stressful situation. But you have to do your profession, isn't it? You have to be 100% to your profession. So that time, how to handle, just take a moment for yourself, come out of the class, come to any place, no one is there. Take yourself some breaks like this. This is 5, 6, 7. You can go for 6, 7, 8. Like 5 seconds inhale, 6 seconds hold, 7 seconds exhale. So you can go for any 5, 6, 7 or 6, 7, 8 or something. Just do 10 to 15 times. Of course, you will find a good positive thing because this is not just breathing oxygen, carbon dioxide out, no. This is your neurons are getting proper oxygen and your proper hormones, happy hormones, positive hormones are produced there. And of course, your body is, getting good, it's getting positive energy. Of course, it's working in your body. And try to fake your mind. You're sad, okay, you know that you're sad, but faking a happy smile releases the hormones. Hormones doesn't know what is lie and what is, truth. Fake it. Let the hormones release the happy. Of course, automatically you forget you were sad. Just try this. Some days, if you feel it is helpful for you. And always, these are what we talk, deep breathing, short walks, journaling, gratitude exercise, you all know. If we are grateful, of course we feel happiness. Thinking about what all we don't have, we can think of what all we have. So when we are grateful in our life, we always rise one above the other, whatever our situation is. Then it is grounding techniques. Have you heard of grounding techniques? It's actually to reduce anxiety if you have anxiety. If you are really worried, really exhausted in your life, you are at your house, you feel very anxious after stressful job and coming to home and you're not able to do anything properly, you're feeling very anxious. This technique will be useful if you're very anxious. So this is just, grounding technique is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. It's very, very simple. Very, very simple. Just listen carefully. It's just, if you forget which comes first in your senses, just imagine like this. First eyes, then goes to the touchings, yes? Then goes to your ear, your nose, your mouth. Just you can put a zigzag like this. So this is going to be that. So this is first name 5 things around. This time, see, just imagine I'm very anxious at this time. And I want to do this grounding technique and I'm practicing it now, okay? Just see how I'm doing it. So this is, I'm very anxious. This is the place I am in now and I'm going to look 5 things around me. Okay, don't think this is rubbish games and stuff. These are very small things, but it is very helpful. And these all are scientifically proven, very much scientifically proven. Not someone else has just written in their diaries. Just look at my surrounding. Yes, I'm going to name it out. I have to hear what I'm seeing. I have to hear, okay? There is a window. There is a bulb. Here, teachers. Box, laptop, chair. Yeah? 5 things I have seen. Then touch, feel 4 things. My hand, my watch, my shirt, and the bench. 4 things. And this is 5, 4. Then comes this way. Okay? Listen to 3 sounds. What is at the moment around you? Can you hear the birds? If you listen, you can hear the birds. Just listen carefully. You can hear the fan. Can you hear the rain somewhere? The missing drops coming? The last drops on the roof? Yes. 3 sounds. And comes smellings. Can you smell your no smell, but or smell something around? Here is a flower now. You can smell, or just anything, any, or just you want to smell your shirt. Good fragrance. So anything, what is around you, just try smelling and make your senses aware. I'm using my senses, 5 senses at the moment. Senses has to be aware. And finally, taste something. If you have water at the moment, taste one. So if you have water, drink a drop of water, or however you feel. If you have some chocolate in your hand, eat it. Or if you have nothing at a place, you're just sitting empty and you have nothing, just taste your saliva. You have saliva, it's on you. Your own saliva, not someone else. Taste the saliva. So what's happening is, you are opening all the senses. You're doing something, you're focusing. What happened is, your anxiety reduces. Okay, now do you remember this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. Will you be able to use it for yourself? How do you use it? What is the 5? What is the 5 times? Visual, yes. Eyes. 4? Yes. 3? Very good. 2? Taste? Well done. Wonderful. And the last thing is, let go of perfectionism. Okay? Reset between classes is what I already said. The perfectionism is, it's always try to be perfect. Okay? But you don't really have to be perfect. Try to, but don't be a perfectionist. Like, it will be a lot of stress. Okay? But always try to do your best. If you can't, don't stress yourself too much, but always give your best. If it is your personal life, give your best. You only have one life, yeah? If it is your professional life, it's your life, you're living it, give your best. Okay? So that's not try to be perfect. I'm not a perfect parent. I always tell that. When I was busy in most of my time, my studies, during my masters, and also I was busy with my kids, and lot of my even work time. I was very busy with work, study, and the house. But I always made sure that I'm a happy mother. I'm not a perfect mother. I have to be a happy mother for my kids, because they don't remember when they are grown up. They won't remember my perfectionism stuffs. They only remember the beautiful memories I gave them in my good time, in my quality time. It's not that we have to be 24 hours up with our kids and blame them, be aggressive with them and, insult them, give them all negative stuff they could handle more than they can handle in their age. Instead, if we are with them for 1 hour in a day, make it the best moments of their day and, so of course, of their life, because in every psychiatric diseases, in every psychological issues, the traumas faced in childhood always affects their personality, their futures. And we remember, isn't it? Our childhood issues, we still remember it. But if we are healed out of it, we'll be okay with it. Because problems are everywhere. How we manage it, how we deal with it, and the traumas we have gone through, not our mistakes, isn't it? But healing, going through the healing process, talking to a therapist, going to a healing process is really mandatory. We have to heal ourselves if we have any traumas still left behind in our memories. So the thing is this, the quality time and giving the best in your life, not trying to be perfect anywhere. Be the best. Be a happy person. Be the best. Give your best. Try your best always. So this is what we have done now, isn't it? And there is a question, so you have gone through the the self-reflection, yeah? The last year you have gone through a struggle and you told me how you handled it. Can you tell me, so we have to plan everything, isn't it? This is a new academic year. You have grown a lot. Your skills have improved now. Because every day we have to learn, we have to improve our skills every day. So the new academic year will be a new you. It has to be a new you. So you have to be packed with how you are going to handle the coming year. What if any burnout and very stressful situation like compassion fatigue or something comes in your life? How are you planning to handle? So this is what I said, problems never stops. But how we deal with it, how we engage with it, these are the things that matter. So what's your plan? Can we have a discussion about it, how we are going, how you all are going to handle it, the coming years, burnouts and stuffs. Anyone?
Your mommy already shared with us so many good techniques to use. So definitely, we will try to use that techniques first. And we will try to improve ourselves. I like that language.
That's good.
First of all, I will try to understand the family background of that particular student, and I will try to overcome, how can I overcome that situation, and then I will share with my companions, with colleagues and other person, and get the advice from them. Then I will follow.
Any other?
പുതിയ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് പഠിക്കുന്നതിന് ശേഷം അത് ഏത് രീതിയിൽ ഹാൻഡിൽ ചെയ്താലാണ് കൃത്യമായി നമുക്ക് പ്രോപ്പറായി നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള ഫലം കിട്ടുക എന്ന് നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കും. അതിനനുസരിച്ച് നീങ്ങാനാണ് താല്പര്യം.
Any more?
എല്ലാവരുടെയും ജീവിത സാഹചര്യം ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയിട്ട് അതുപോലെ അതിനനുസരിച്ച് നമ്മൾ പോയില്ല, അപ്പം അതിൻ്റെ റിസൾട്ട് ഉണ്ടാവും.
All right. Thank you so much for your answers. Have you tried this work-life balance? When you're at work, you're at work. When you're at home, you're at home. Have you tried this? If you have not tried this, did it affect your life very much? Yes? Many yes, whispering. Don't loud yes. Yes, I can read it from your face what you're thinking. So yes, we always have to have the boundaries with our professional life and personal life. Once you enter the school, you're a teacher, you're a school staff, do your best. Make it the best day of others, yours. Create beautiful memories, that's what you leave behind. Instead of giving, just backbiting and, just insulting. We are getting a negative energy, we are providing negative energy. Instead, come on, hi, good morning, how are you? How do you feel today? Are you okay today? Are you okay? Are you comfortable? Yes. Wow, you're spreading. You are already in a good mood from your house. You're giving the positive vibe to others. So, that's a boundary between school and home. Then, do you do the school works at home? Yeah? If you do school works at home, you have to have specific timing. Do you manage that? It's normal to have teachers having school works at home, but is it a planned, structured work? So if you are having homeworks, like the school works at home, what you have to keep to make yourself, the best person? You have to keep timing for that. Like, from this hour to this hour, if parents are calling or something, you have to have a clear plan of your life, yeah? Because you are the ruler of yourself. You are the boss of yourself. So when you enter the home, you are you. Yeah, you're not a teacher. So plan from this time to this will be of only this Monday or Tuesday, no. When there's really alternate days or every day this much to this time or alternate days or something, specific days, this time to this time will be the time for parents to call because some parents won't keep their phone down. They will talk, you will burn out. You know, you're draining your energy and the parent is losing their energy. Nothing is happening, yeah? So you have to give specific time for the calls, make them, you know, that's how you usually do abroad. So, you know, you give them this time to this time, you can talk to me if there is anything urgent. If there is non-urgent, you can come and meet me at school in the free time. You know, you can plan. The timing has to be planned. If you have some written works at home, plan this hour to this hour every day or whatever days you have work, this will be my office work. The rest is for yourself, come on, it is for yourself, for your family, for your parents, whatever, if you're in your parents or you're with your wife and kids or family, what husband or stuffs, you're responsible for their life too, your kids. Spend quality time, not quantity time, okay? I don't mean quantity time, I don't like it. Because you have time, you go there, lazy, don't do anything, you're exhausted, and you give all the pressures to them, and you make there was, already your days was big, no, quality time, it will be the best, happy, and engage in your hobbies. Try to improve, try to have some hobbies. I heard she told about the singing, yeah? See, any hobby, that will be your hobby, isn't it? Yes. So everyone will have one or two hobbies. Please try to maintain something. If you're a writer, write a page every day. Not necessarily you can write every day, at least twice a week, thrice a week a page. Try to maintain your hobby because it makes you happy. It boosts your happy hormones, you know. It makes you a good personality. Like if you have a good happy hormones, you're boosting yourself up, all positive energy. Of course, becoming a good human being, isn't it? So you can provide positive energy to your surroundings. Your home is happy, you are happy. What happens next? When you come to school, children is happy with your energy, isn't it? Children are happy, your colleagues are happy, your boss is happy, everyone is happy. Otherwise, what's happening? You're exhausted, inside the home, no one is happy. Coming to the school, no one is happy. You yourself is not happy. See, it's all how we handle every solution. Every problem has solutions. Every problem has solutions. But try to find out, try to handle it, how to handle it, take help. If you're really struggling, take help from a therapist and be the best version of yourself. So this is it, when to seek professional help for teachers. Of course, peer talks help. That's few teachers talked about peer talks, that is talking to the colleagues, it always helps. If you have a positive friend, that's a positive energy. That's a very good energy. If you have support circles, like you have some gangs, like teacher gangs, or in outside, they used to be like teacher groups in Facebooks and the social medias, where if you get into that groups like online, you get more ideas, and they share their experiences, like how to handle certain types of behaviors inside the classroom, how different type of engaging activities inside the classroom. So you get, in some groups you get a lot of ideas like that. So such support circles, or you have any personal support circle for yourself, that will be very helpful for your mental health. So you have to take a mental health consultation only if these symptoms of burnout and fatigue is for long time, like more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 1 month. You tried everything, you are not able to help yourself. You feel like I'm losing myself, I'm not able to do, I tried this, I tried that, you feel like you are not able to, come out of this by yourself. You are really draining yourself emotionally, all the emotional aspects, the physical aspects, not able to eat well, sleep well, those things, and your behavior, you're not in a good feel or good mood. Today, I'm not in a good mood to take the class today, but I have to simply take the class and go. See, if it is affecting all yourself, your personal life, your family life, your profession, so if it is persisting for too long, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, minimum it is 2 weeks, you have to talk to a therapist. And it's not only mental patients, talk to a therapist, okay? That's a very big stigma we still have here in our country. Can you read this? Myths and facts about mental health in children. These children have mental health issues in schools. These children have mental health issues in schools. Definitely, they start from a young age as well. It can start at any age. There is no age specification. Even the very bad incident what I have seen in my once I was working in an emergency department in hospital in UK. So there was a patient who came suddenly with suicide and stuff. It was an emergency case. And I felt right really because that was a normal degree student that was from another country. There was no parents, there was nothing. They just came for education. The child was single, not a child, an adult, 18 plus. So might be around 21 of age. Due to extreme stress, personal stress or something, the child lost its mind and was in severe psychosis. So see, anything, even the normal person can be abnormal sometimes, but it can be reversed. If you get proper treatment and help, it can be reversed. So that's it. Even here, there is no, that what I meant to say is there is no age limit or any time for this kind of stuff. And sometimes when we see some problems in children, we say like, to change gradually, just leave it. Sometimes it will become worse and it will be okay sometimes. And what happens is, sometimes we just neglect some behavioral issues as bad behavior, which is really some mental health struggles with some children. Don't focus this mental health as a mental health patient or something that is really affecting their mind, yeah? So any mental health stuff which is draining them out might be a condition or something they're suffering instead of they're showing it as a bad behavior. Have you, yeah, this is cool. So of course you have dealt with lots of ADHD children, isn't it? Yeah? ADHD is here? We don't know. Is there any ADHD student in the school? Is there any very mischievous student who can't sit inside the class like a football or something? Is there anyone? Yeah. So is there any hyperactive students in the class? Learning disabilities? So that's it. So there is a Radhia. So what happened, there was, when I was working when I was abroad, I got a call from my relative one day. And I was just after working a call and she told me, you know what, I went to a doctor and they diagnosed my child who is 9 years or something with ADHD. ADHD? I thought, how did he diagnose him? He looked at my child and told me he's having ADHD. Okay, funny. And I told who was the doctor? Ayurvedic. No, homeopathy. The second she took to an Ayurvedic doctor, and she told me he studied something in psychology. So I preferred him. He's Ayurvedic plus something about psychology. What about psychology? Are you really specialized in psychology or just some certificates in psychology? I was like, what does he know about psychology? What did he say? He told the same ADHD. And I told, did he take an assessment? She told, no assessment, just looked at my face and told me the same as I told ADHD. I was like, okay, then who did you consult? Then I think she just consulted doctor and told ADHD. Okay. And I told, please, this needs an assessment. If your child is very hyperactive, doesn't mean the child is having ADHD. If the child is very restless, doesn't, because it's a trend now, isn't it? One person is having ADHD. Doesn't mean everyone who can sit up is having ADHD. So I asked her to take an assessment. I gave her a clear idea. I told her, I'm not in the place at the moment and abroad. So what you can do is consult a psychologist, take the assessment and get the result out of it. If you're very tired and you went to a doctor, this doctor just see your face and say you're anemic without taking your blood test. No, you need a test. Without checking your blood pressure, the doctor can say you're having very high BP or low BP. They need proper diagnosis, proper assessment. Similarly, there is proper assessment for ADHD. So what happened is when I am back in India at the moment, so when I came back, I asked my relative, I forgot about that. I was busy and she was busy. I thought, okay, I gave all the instructions, so she will be dealing with it. When I came back, I asked, what? Okay. That's okay. If you move on in that, our time will go and that's okay. Okay, no worries. So what happened is, when I came back, I asked, did you consult with an appointment for assessment to check the child with ADHD? What she told was, no, why? He's already having ADHD. Everyone told ADHD. Okay, so without an assessment, right? So I asked her, if you're okay, I need the consent of the parent because the child is under 18, isn't it? So I told, if you are giving permission, I can talk to I have one psychologist who is running a clinic, so she has all the assessment stuff in Kasaragod. So if you're ready, I can send you there and I can talk to her. She will give you all the assessment the child needs. And what she told was like, okay, let me try. She didn't believe me. Okay, let me try because she's my relative. Because everyone already told this, then all 3 doctors already told. And, but I didn't feel the child is ADHD because there has to be proper assessment before you tell anything the child has. So what I sent the child to the one whom the psychologist I know, and the psychologist called me and told me, do you know what, Mushina, what happened? The child was having hyper-intelligence, not ADHD. His ADHD assessment was normal. The child was having hyper-intelligence. This was a behavior, hyperactive behavior shown because the child was hyper-curious because whatever we were providing to the child, it was not enough for the child. The child wanted to learn more, know more. The child always jumps like, if he learns, he wants to learn more, the next page, But when we see it's like hyperactiveness in our normal eyes, but after the assessment, the mother was very shocked. Now she is very happy and she is able to manage the child the way he wants, and now he is very settled because she knows how to manage that child. He is hyper intelligent, of course, he needs more materials, more stuffs, more energy, he is having more energy. So when we have any issues, so we should not say that the child is actually normal or abnormal without the proper assessment. So that's what I meant to say. So ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Have you heard of that? Okay. So when we have different type of kids in our classroom, isn't it? So as I told, this is a teacher, this is a profession and also a huge responsibility to the society, isn't it? Because we are raising and being part of a good society tomorrow, isn't it? We are, after the home, where else can you get more time? In school. So of course we are part of their memories. We are part of good thoughts and stuff. We still remember, isn't it? Some of the thoughts what our teachers once taught in the childhood. Why? That's an influence, isn't it? That's the same way we are going to influence lots of children. So if you see, as we are responsible, we have to see, we have to observe any changes in the children. So if which is like we feel like they really need help. And if the symptoms, I will tell you what are the symptoms, the next. So if the symptoms is like more than 2 weeks, and if you, have you seen any suicidal attempts in adolescent cases or something? Yes. Have you seen the blood cuttings in the hands? And sometimes to hide, they do it in the thighs. That's a trend now, yeah? It's very common and very normal.
I think it is mostly girls right now.
Girls, yes. Majority is girls, yeah. It's abroad it's same. Nowadays, what happened is this people see, isn't it? So they started with thighs, the upper thighs, because no one opened there. But in hospitals, you check everywhere. So if it is after 2 weeks, you still see a change or behavioral difference in the children, please refer to a therapist. If you have a school psychologist, you can refer to them or talk to the parent, polite way. They won't understand anything. That is a very, very big challenge you have to face. Make them understand this is normal and stuff the way. Create a good rapport with them, a good, good friendship with the parent, like not professional friendship, not the normal friendship. Profession is always profession. Make them very polite, kind, humble. Don't worry, it's not only your child. There are a lot of students. Then they'll ask, is there any more students in your class saying like this? So it's like, these are very confidential. I can't talk about the school. That is different. But I want to make sure your child is not alone in this world like this. Many schools, many areas, it's common. Please provide the child with proper support. Because currently we are not having anyone to assist, please take the child to a psychologist. Okay, so to a therapist and seek proper support at the right time. You are going to save a child. But you are not going to diagnose the child like what I told before. Just seeing that they say, yeah, I know you are having this. You are having ADHD or you are having that. I know you are depressed. Don't go to diagnosis. You just help a child to get a diagnosis and get a proper help. So it can be emotional, it can be physics, same like we talked about the teachers before, isn't it? Same, they're also human beings, they're the little human beings, isn't it? They're little human beings, they're growing, they have the same things, same stuff. So this is it. Emotional, behavioral, physical, and social. So since it's children, they show different kind of crying, sometimes they cry. Can you read this? Can you see everyone this one? Can you read it? And there will be some different things like other than the adults, like class dropouts. Some children will come to class, some will try to escape in class, like the withdrawal and the bullying. Is there any bullying zone or something here? Any bullying policies? Do you have any referral policies in your school, sir? No, do you have policies, referral and bullying policies? So, see, if you find these kind of symptoms which is lasting, like emotional symptoms, as we told, irritability, all those kinds of stuff, and the behavior, aggressive, withdrawn, in the physical, they are always tired in the class, they are not energetic to listen to the class, they are not engaging with their peers, they are not happy with their students. And there is always, although we have a bully in the class who always insult and fights and who always give, damn for something to other students, or who is always isolated, like don't play with the kids. If it is for long time, not like 1 day or 2 days, normal. It's for long time, more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, please go and to refer it to a therapist. According to the studies, 14 to 23% of school children in India are facing mental health conditions. So I would like to ask you, if you got a problematic child in your class, like you observe that child for more than 2 weeks, and you thought like, yeah, the child is having some difficulties, and you want to the child to a therapist or you want, first you have to know what's happening in the house, isn't it? You can't directly call them and say, please take to the therapist. No. Just talk to the parent and know what's happening to the child. The child has been so isolated in the class, so was very silent, no energy. Is he okay at home? Or are you struggling with some personal stuff which is affecting the child? You don't have to ask about the parents' problems. Anything which is affecting, we have to know only the parent, isn't it? No, sorry, child. You don't have to know the parents' personal stuff. Anything affecting the child. So, because we don't know what's happening inside the houses, any drug issues with the parents. There are a lot of broken families now. Broken families, family problems, financial crisis which affects the children. So is there anything we can help? Like, by talking, anything we can, or are you happy? If when you talk, you get the idea, there is no problem, or there is something very severely going on, you can tell them, are you happy to take the child to a therapist? Just don't feel bad, but to help your child to come back is the old one. So, what do you feel will be a great challenge when you refer a child? What do you feel a great challenge when you refer a child to the parent? What would be the challenge you're going to face?
First one is that parents won't accept it. That is a one.
That is, yes, definitely. That's true.
The child is a perfect one, and they don't want to give the publicity also. It should be handled in a proper way.
That's true. I remember while I was working in UAE, in Sharjah Indian School, I remember with a child who had severe behavioral issue. I called and talked to the parent for 1 year. It took 1 year for the parent to accept the child is having issues. I talked, a principal talked, vice principal talked, supervisor talked, everyone talked, but I did not give up because the child is a human being, isn't it? That has its own rights. That has to be protected, that has to be given further things and stuff.
Because they feel shy along with that.
Yes, definitely. That behavioral issue was completely observable because the child was autistic. You know what is autism? It is severely observable outside. The child is always, it is very, very observable, but the parent was avoiding it. My child is normal. My parent was, but it took 1 year for the parent to accept, yes, I finally accepted it. I can't forget all those moments, Yeah. So this is the thing. So when we are in our profession, we can't give up with the parents because we can't say, oh, the parent is not listening, so I don't have to, but we have to follow up the parents. Not every next day, next week or next month, however the symptom is, the severity, according to the severity of the symptoms, you have to keep on till the parent accepts it. So that's a very big point in schools. So this is the thing, practice empathy. Do you know what is empathy? So knowing from the child's side, the child is feeling very, all those in a very sad side. Just imagine if I was in that age and I was like that. What I will be if I got some help at that moment? Yes, definitely I can do something, isn't it? So just think from the other shoes, other side. Reference steps I told is here. We are going to. Reference step. That is another thing. Is confidentiality is a very, very big thing. If we know someone in the class is having a problem, what we do, we notice it. We should never talk to our colleagues. Colleagues are best friends, right? But we are professionals as well, isn't it? We are professional teachers. But this is a very confidential, sensitive issue. We should not talk about it in the staff room, like, what, this child did this and stuff. And you should not, really, as a professional person, you should not. The thing is, there will be a policy in your school. You can talk to your sir later. So, usually what happens is, when you observe a child issue in the class, you talk to your principal, you can talk to your vice principal, so you can talk to your vice principal. It has to be confidential. Confidential means it has to be secret. Only you know the problem, your vice principal know the problem. If you have a temptation, I want to say it to someone. No, you're not allowed, you're a professional. You have, if you practice that, you can do that. It's very normal because psychologists are carrying a lot of stories, But still, it's doing nothing with us. We are practicing our own mindfulness technique, so it's going. The thing is, you notice it, you go to the vice principal, talk to her, only you and vice principal. Vice principal will discuss that with principal, only you and her. If it is a really big case or something that you have to deal with, go to your managing director. So you can talk to Ajay sir. So this has to go, but no talks between the colleagues. Just imagine if I'm having a personal issue and I'm one of your best friends and you're discussing my personal, if I shared one of my personal problem to someone else and you're discussing it in your staff room, how I will feel. Oh my God, I'm done. I just want to move to, down of the earth, isn't it? Children are human beings. They deserve all respect, all kindness. They make mistakes. They're little human beings, curious, want to know the world. Let us help them to grow, build. Yeah? With them, what we are doing, we are also building. Isn't it? Building ourselves. And make sure there is safety as well. So if it is a suicidal case, it has to be immediate. Isn't it? It has to be immediate and has to refer to the parent at the moment. It has to be all immediate steps. That the safety of the child, safety of the surrounding, everything has to be maintained. So if it is, because adolescent case, we know the current scenario in our world now. Children's addictions, drug addictions, children's criminal stuffs, crime, child crime. So of course, any stuffs happen, has to be very confidential, move on as possible, report to the parent if it is very emergency. So the safety has to be maintained, confidentiality number 111. It has to be on the top always, and the reference there. And always has to understand what the child is feeling. So I'm going to give you an activity. Hope you have your pen and paper, isn't it? So can I divide you into a few groups, like 1, 2, 3 in one group, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
behavioral maybe very much, maybe the way he takes, maybe a small things will be taken as a big issue. That is the another person.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other points, please? Yes, ma'am.
പ്രശ്നമില്ല, കുട്ടികളുമായിട്ട് മറ്റു കുട്ടികളൊന്നും നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല, പിന്നെ അവൻ്റെ മടിയും കൂടിയാണ് അതിൻ്റെ കാരണമായിട്ട്.
Any points? Can you tell me possible causes? Why do you think the child is behaving so?
Maybe the child is not getting a family support. Maybe the family is not understanding the child. They are not giving the love, the care the child needs. So that can be the cause of the child to be behaving such way. Ego, child ego. Thank you.
Very good points, thank you. And what will be the steps you would take when these things happen inside your class? Yes.
First, we will try to understand the child's situation, why he is behaving like that. Then we will contact with their parents or.
It is only if it is necessary. Don't contact everything to the parents, but if it is necessary and appropriate. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Anyone?
First of all, I try to find out the real issue behind that behavior.
Okay.
Then I usually question. So that's very equal. Sometimes that's maybe fatigue ignorance from the peer group or other teachers, family.
Thank you so much. It all more than 2 weeks, it goes to 3 weeks and it comes in a month and the child is showing severe, symptoms. How will be your referral pathway? How you are going to refer the child? Do you remember what I told? The referral, how do you refer? Yeah? Louder please.
First we will try to solve by ourselves itself. Then if it is not confirmed or it is not finding, then we will discuss with the parent and find out whether the reason behind of that, proper reason. Then we will try to convince them. If they are not still willing, then we will inform the authority of the school, means the vice principal, then she will discuss with the principal and will try to solve it.
Thank you. But it's really concerning in the class. You have to, along with, telling to the parent, you have to report any concerning things in your respected supervisor. You will have a supervisor, isn't it? And the supervisor will do the further things. If there is any concerning things, then along with reporting to the, you told a very good point. Thank you for that. And with the supervisor, you have to inform the parent as well. So the supervisor goes to vice principal goes to principal goes to MD. I think if it is very urgent, isn't it? It is too urgent because from this. I think Ajit sir is all in all here. So of course, I know he will know it. Anyway, on the go he will know it.
Usually it comes to me directly.
That's all. That's all. I know. I know it's quite different here, but that's really. Do you really feel bored? Do you want to take 5 minutes break or something? Are you sure? I always love this part because I was an emotional intelligence mentor before. I love this because this changed my life, and whoever's life I could change, I changed with this. Do you know what is emotional intelligence? Any idea? Have you heard anywhere? What is EI? One yes, somewhere. You? Did you say yes?
നന്നായിട്ട് പഠിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കുട്ടിക്ക് പക്ഷേ ഇമോഷണലി ഇന്റലിജൻസ് ഹാൻഡിൽ ഇഷ്യൂ വന്ന് ഹാൻഡിൽ ചെയ്യാനാണ് ക്ലാസ്സിൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ ടോപ്പായിരിക്കും പഠിക്കുന്ന കാര്യത്തിൽ പക്ഷേ അത് മാനസികമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഹെൽത്ത് ഉണ്ടാവില്ല എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇഷ്യൂ വരുമ്പോൾ പെട്ടെന്ന് ഡൗൺ ആയിരിക്കും അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇത് ഐ തിങ്ക് കൺവീൻ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ്
Definitely. But any more points? Any? That's okay. So do you know what? You all know IQ, isn't it? So this EQ is emotional quotient, IQ is intelligence quotient. So we are measuring IQ, and similarly, do you know why this is kept a similar way? Because this is equally important in a person's life to be a successful human being. A successful person, a successful professional person, a successful in any area. If you want to make a real success, and what is life success? You have to have a happy life, isn't it? So if you are good at an EQ, you don't have to think. You know, I always focus on whenever I meet a person. Really nowadays I focus how much EQ this person have. I observe it because that's really important. We get to know how to be this person, like how to be with this person. We get to know that. So before that, let me tell you what is EQ is. Emotional intelligence is a very important stuff, and it is dealing with your own emotions and dealing with others' emotions. Why is this very important? Why do you think this is very important? Because we are human beings, first of all. We have our own personal life, first of all. We have to work to eat, professional life. Then what? We are a social being. We have to interact with people. Yes, leadership skills, where it comes? Social life, yeah? Leadership skills. All best skills come out of this. When, if you know what is your emotions, what you are feeling, if you can validate your feeling, recognize, understand. Similarly, if you can understand others' feelings, know their feelings, value their feelings, you are the best. But how? This is an ocean. You could say EI is an ocean and it is my favorite topic. But this does not end in one day session. It's such a huge topic. So I'm just introducing this. What is emotional intelligence now? Because this won't end in the session. So I'll just conclude about EI. This is about your emotions, how we handle our emotions, how we handle others' emotions. Okay? If someone is very, let me take the school example. Like a child is very angry in the class. Okay? Be aggressive with these two children. Let's assume they are fighting each other. One is angry at each other, and the other was like suffering. The other was giving. The other was taker. So before that, come on, I'm sorry. Come on, you stop. Before beating or before taking, I don't like the sticks. I hate sticks. Before taking the sticks or something and punishing and stopping the person, consider that is a human being. That too, a child is a growing human being, a curious human being. I'm the teacher inside the class, and you're very angry and that child is beaten up, but I'm being kind and polite to you. Like, I understand, there is something triggered you, isn't it? You want to be angry without a reason. So I want to know the trigger. So I have to be a human first. So I'm like, are you okay, dear? Is there something really bothering you? What happened, dear? Why did you do that? Why don't you choose another thing to tell him? Why don't you beat him up? So the child thinks, oh my God, I was expecting a stick and this. What happened to this lady? Definitely what happened to this lady, isn't it? So the thing is, the person is a person, the child thinks. That's a way of dealing. That's what I intended to say is the emotional, understanding and the dealing instead of aggression, meeting with aggression. Aggression you can make with politeness, understanding, knowing the other's emotions, that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of things, how you, like passive aggression, how you manage actively, and there are a lot of things I would love to say, but I don't have enough to say about it. So we'll conclude this. So this is emotional intelligence. Did you understand what is emotional intelligence? Yeah? So I just want to introduce some stuffs in the classroom. So you can basically do these stuffs in the class. Normally in the morning, when kids come up, you can just ask them like, how do you feel today, Luis? Like, whatever you call guys or something. How do you feel, students or kids, whatever you call? Hi, good morning, how are you all? How do you feel today? Are you okay? Are you feeling comfortable today? Then you can just start like, if you have emojis or something, stuck behind the walls, the charts, you can ask which are the feelings you're feeling now. The emotional charts, like all the feelings. Or you can ask, are you good today? So they will praise. Are you okay, not good, not bad. So you bad today? So we can know the feelings of the children. Just, you can introduce this to your classroom is a basic step. Like, with the good morning, after the introduction and stuff, how are you feeling today, my kids? Are you okay? Are you all comfortable? Are you all happy today to start the class? Let's enjoy this class. Can you rate your feeling? Can you tell your emotions? They have to know what their emotions are. Because not only kids, even adults doesn't know what I'm feeling right now. Some people, they have to know what they are. We have to label the emotion. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. See, you can see different funny faces, isn't it? So, according to your mood, what is it? We have to analyze our own feelings. Today, I'm in this scale now. Better not talk too much because I am harm now. I am harmful now because my mood is this low. Understand. So, after some time, relaxation and something, better now. Time to talk. Analyze how you are feeling, what you are going through. Similarly, when something happens with others, understand their feelings as well. Accept their feelings, validate. Sometimes it will be your best colleague who shouts at you, but before thinking that's my colleague and that's my best friend, it's okay dear, just go and give a hug and say, you okay? Is there something bothering you from your family or something? Or did you come with some bad mood? You okay? After 5 minutes you listen. Just understanding the emotion, understanding own emotions, understanding others' emotions. This is very crucial in our professional life, personal life, and we have to teach the children, you can create, in the classrooms, the emoji charts, different types of emojis, and you can introduce them. This is happiness, this is this one, this is nervous, this is whatever feels, all these are these things. And you can introduce them, which are you feeling right now? And you can ask them, there is a thermometer, just assume there is a thermometer, or you can create in a chart thermometer, picture, and a red zone, orange zone, yellow zone, green zone. In red zone, you are in danger zone, you are feeling very upset, very tired, very exhausted. The child could say, if you ask the child, what are you feeling at the moment? I am in the red zone now. If it is orange, you can just Google it, you get the reference for the emotional it's like you're confused, you're not normal, but you're not in severe problem. Green, you're safe, you're calm, you're relaxed, you're fine, you're adjusted, that state. So you can just ask, are you okay? If someone says, I'm not feeling good, feeling bad, ma'am, ask the child, are you okay? Take the child, if it is very severe or something, you can talk to them privately. Otherwise, which is this you're feeling at the thermometer? So it might be yellow, ma'am. Might be. So you can just have it as a small activity in the classroom. These are the emotional regulation techniques. Deep breathing, we talk, body grounding game. One of the grounding game we already discussed about. Body scan is just nothing but it's another kind of mindfulness. Just relaxing, taking deep breath. From the foot to head, you will observe where your body has pains and stuff. That's another technique. And mindfulness breaks. You are mindful. What I love is mindfulness, mindful eating. I love it. Have you enjoyed it? You have to enjoy eating. Instead of taking a phone and talking to someone and saying, you don't know the taste, might out of something you like. Taste it, know this, chew it, taste it, love it. That's a mindfulness. You're giving your full, relaxed. So in every activity, when you give your full, you will have when you give your presence and then arts, journaling, calm corner set up with emotion tools. There comes the emotional thermometer. So there will be, if you have a place here, you can make a calm space. When children really feel, especially teenagers, if they really feel that kind of distress inside the classroom, and you have a good space, calmer space, like they have to relax for 5 minutes, you can just go to that place. And if it is very, very, not just simply go and come, it has to be very necessary, affecting the class, the child's mental health, the child is affecting the class. See, lots of aspect is really there. You can have a calm area where the child feels relaxed. The seatings, the calmer area. Do you understand what I mean? There will be a calm seating, a calm page, some calm tools with emotional tools like emotional thermometers and some emojis. And just relax in space. So you can, if the child is really that much exhausted, tired, or going through some trauma, some children go through traumas if they are going through broken families or something. It takes some time for them to come out of their trauma stuff. So, if you see someone's eyes are, when the class, you can see some children like that, so you can take, instead of publicly speaking, go to the child, tell them the ear, do you want to go and take a 5 minutes in the council, but make sure the child is safe as well. Just this 5 minutes, you come back. If you have a CCTV there or something, make sure the child is safe. No suicide attempt. You have to make sure everything is safe. So this is it. Emotional dysregulation. This is outbursts, overreactions, withdrawal. How we support staying calm, validating their feeling, giving them space, follow up with reflection. We don't have to say you're a child, you still have these problems. No, that's a human being. Come on, leave the child, leave that, and leave everything stuff. Leave our age, leave the child's age. That's a wonderful human being in front of you, growing. Validate. They may say, she beat me. It's okay for an LKG. That's enough. That's more than they can bear. Come on, dear. It's okay. Come on. It's okay. That's enough for them. Understand, validate, accept whatever they are, because everyone is coming from different situations, different atmosphere. But in the school, they all are same, isn't it? The school, they all are same. So, this is just for a quick reference. So, if anxious, so we can practice grounding games, yeah? So, if we can teach this to the children as well. Then, if sad, check in, quiet time. That's when I told about the calm corners. Check in when the child comes in. You check in. How do you feel? You okay? Or just when you see your colleague in the morning, But there are some cases where we have to raise our voice. Then we have to raise our voice. Not every so it's according to the situations how we deal with it. So if a child is confused, simplify and make them understand how they can understand in a way they can understand. So we will wind up with this. So this is going to be a self-reflection. What kind of teacher I want to be? Forget about the last year. This is your present and future years. What kind of teacher do I want to be? How has your thinking changed? How can you be more empathetic? So I wanted to do is, here, that is, I think you don't have enough time to close your eyes and stuff. So I just want you to imagine, it was actually an activity but it takes time. So I'm just going to just skip it for discussion. But I just want you to self-reflect yourself. How you want to be the best. What kind of teacher you want to be in your coming years. And this was actually a writing, but it takes time. So can we just discuss? Is it okay? Yeah? What kind of teachers you want to be in your... You can just read it out because I have no time for that to carry out the activity. You can just read it out. May I please know now how you want to be the best teacher in your coming years? Like, we all imagine if we had that kind of teacher when I was young. We all have that kind of concept, isn't it? So, of course, the children will have the same concepts.
Children want the teacher as a friendly for them, right now. It's
Yes.
like a friendly, they have to share the things, whatever they have to share the things. That is the concept of nowadays child. They want friendly teacher girls. They can share everything. Same like a friend for them.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely, we have to change with the situations, isn't it? The new era, the children are very friendly, but the parents are becoming friendly, Comparing to the last 10 years, it's changing. So, of course, the teachers has to be friendly. Okay, she would love to be a friendly teacher. What others are?
Teachers should be really understanding. Yes. Considering each child as important things.
Thank you so much. So, not being partial, that's a very good point.
Considering the students as they are a human being, not a difference in their age.
Thank you so much. That's a good point.
They want to apply the learned outcomes in real life.
No, how you want to be. No, I was asking actually how you want to be the best teacher. So what are the things you are going to apply in yourself? Like in the coming years, you want to be the best teacher.
Teacher must be motivated. Be a motivator.
She has to be a real motivator. What is a real motivator? We have to be, first we have to be the best person, isn't it? That's a good point. You want to?
Teacher always be a guide, not complete friendly. ഒരിക്കലും കുട്ടികളായിട്ട് ടീച്ചർ ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ആയിരിക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. അറിയണം, കുട്ടികളുടെ കാര്യം നമ്മൾ അറിയണം, അവരുടെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ കേൾക്കണം, വിശ്വസൊക്കെ പരിചരിക്കണം. ഫ്രണ്ട്, ദാറ്റ്സ് മൈ ഒപ്പീനിയൻ. ഒരു ഗൈഡ് ആവാം, മെന്റർ ആവാം, ഒരു മോട്ടിവേറ്റർ ആവാം, ഒരിക്കലും ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ആവാം. ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി പറയുമ്പോൾ കുട്ടികൾ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും അത്ര അറിയുന്ന ഒരാളല്ല ടീച്ചർ. എപ്പോഴും കുട്ടികളുടെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ അറിയാം, അവരെ മുമ്പിൽ അല്ലാതെ അവരോട് ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ആയി, അവരുടെ പേരൻസിനോട് ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ആയി, അവരെ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ വാങ്ങുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള ഒരു ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ഒരിക്കലും പാടില്ല. ഒരു ടീച്ചർ എപ്പോഴും കുട്ടിയുടെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ അറിയണം, അവരെ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഗൈഡ് ചെയ്യണം, പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ അറിയണം, പരിഹരിക്കണം, അവരുടെ കൂടെ ആയിരിക്കണം, പക്ഷെ അത്രയും ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ആയിരിക്കാൻ പാടില്ല.
So I think think this comes where professional friendship goes beyond. Yes, that's another point, which is a big topic. Because when we are working in a professional atmosphere, we always have to keep professional boundaries. Yeah, I understand. That's a good point. Okay. Any points here? All right. Thank you so much for your points. So I am just skipping this activity because of the lack of time. But anyway, we have just winded up with some points. So, have you seen this picture? This is how we are moving through with our society now. But in the world, many places this have changed. Where I come from, in UK, I think the system is not there. My son, 1 to 4 years, he has not attended any exams because there is no exam. Now I am afraid. I don't know how he is going to write exam here. So I'm very careful of that. No exam there. If you go to the class and ask the teacher, oh my God, this child is wonderful. I am like, oh my God. See, because each and every child in the class, they say only that statement. That is the rule of the schools there. Each and every child, if it is in any type of academic level, they say your child is wonderful and, doing very well, that blah, 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 and no exams. See, it's different in different countries, isn't it? So here it's very different. So what's happening here now in our education system? Did you understand this picture or are you tired of seeing this picture before? No. So this is first one. So what's happening is, see, just compare the animals we see as our students, like our kids. Not students, our own kids, yeah? So it's different. See, the elephant has different ability. The fish can swim but can't climb a tree. The elephant can take weights but can't swim. See, it's different abilities, isn't it? Different animals, different capabilities, different skills. This is what he is telling. Come on, let us take the same test. See that? Can you see that person? What he is telling? See, you're different type of people here. Come on, let us do the same test and let's see how much you score. What happens? This is the same situation of a child. In a classroom, you can see wonderful, beautiful, cute little faces who will be tomorrow's great artist or great chef. We only know of before, it was only doctors and engineers, now not. There are now AI has, come and we don't know what will be the next level kids are going to. So, there are a lot of stuffs. So, we can't never compare a child to another child with their just school. There is a lot of stuffs behind that. And also, as I told, there is EI and EQ, yeah? EQ and IQ. So we can only measure some IQ stuffs, but EQ stuffs, I think many of the professionals to lead in, to get in their best roles in their profession, they need a high IQ. They need a high EQ. And also if you're a businessman, it's okay if you have an IQ score of 100 or 90, even though fine. 90, that's okay. Even though it's fine, you need a good EQ, emotional intelligence has to be high. You can be tomorrow's Yusuf or something, Yusuf Ali sir or something. See, that is the importance of this emotional intelligence. And this is Miracle Mind, my online mental health services. You can visit the website and you can follow the Insta page of this one. And here, this is my official number. You can contact me for any help. If you need, you can just note it down. So you can WhatsApp me, okay? Because I want. After this, I just want to go through the. Yeah, can I do the same groupings? This is just at the end of the session. I just want to analyze yourself. What are the strategies you were using these years? Oh, if you're fresher, that's okay. If you are experienced, what were the strategies you used these years in your classroom to understand and for students' well-being, mental health well-being, and what will be your future techniques you are going to use in your classroom, and what is your feel like, how I want to be my classroom be like.